But man is not made for defeat. A man can be destroyed, but not defeated. Courage is grace under pressure. There is no hunting like the hunting of man, and those who have hunted armed men long enough and liked it never care for anything else thereafter. There is nothing to writing. All you do is sit down at a typewriter and bleed. When you go to war as a boy, you have a great illusion of immortality. Other people get killed, not you. Then, when you are badly wounded the first time, you lose that illusion and you know it can happen to you. Always do sober what you said you'd do drunk. That will teach you to keep your mouth shut. The world breaks everyone, and afterward, some are strong at the broken places. An intelligent man is sometimes forced to be drunk to spend time with his fools. There is nothing noble in being superior to your fellow men. True nobility lies in being superior to your former self. The first panacea for a mismanaged nation is inflation of the currency. The second is war. Both bring a temporary prosperity, both bring a permanent ruin. But both are the refuge of political and economic opportunists. I like to listen. I have learned a great deal from listening carefully. Most people never listen. The best way to find out if you can trust somebody is to trust them. Never think that war, no matter how necessary nor how justified, is not a crime. In modern war, you will die like a dog for no good reason. Happiness in intelligent people is the rarest thing I know. The shortest answer is doing the thing. Never go on trips with anyone you do not love. You're beautiful, like a mayfly. I love sleep. My life has the tendency to fall apart when I'm awake, you know? Every man's life ends the same way. It is only the details of how he lived and how he died that distinguish one man from another. There is no friend as loyal as a book. All things truly wicked start from innocence. Hesitation increases in relation to risk in equal proportion to age. I learned never to empty the well of my writing, but always to stop when there was still something there in the deep part of the well, and let it refill at night from the springs that fed it. We are all apprentices in a craft where no one ever becomes a master. The world is a fine place and worth the fighting for, and I hate very much to leave it. I love to go to the zoo, but not on Sunday. I don't like to see the people making fun of the animals when it should be the other way around. Time is the least thing we have of. Madame, all stories, if continued far enough, end in death, and he is no true storyteller who would keep that from you. For a long time now, I have tried simply to write the best I can. Sometimes I have good luck and write better than I can. When writing a novel, a writer should create living people, people not characters. A character is a caricature. As you get older, it is harder to have heroes, but it is sort of necessary. Prose is architecture, not interior decoration, and the Baroque is over. The only thing that could spoil a day was people. People were always the limiters of happiness, except for the very few that were as good as spring itself. Fear of death increases in exact proportion to increase in wealth. If a writer knows enough about what he is writing about, he may omit things that he knows. The dignity of movement of an iceberg is due to only 1/9 of it being above water. Once we have a war, there is only one thing to do. it must be won. For defeat brings worse things than any that can ever happen in war. From things that have happened, and from things as they exist, and from all things that you know, and all those you cannot know, you make something through your invention that is not a representation, but a whole new thing truer than anything true and alive. And you make it alive, and if you make it well enough, you give it immortality. When you have shot one bird flying, you have shot all birds flying. They are all different, and they fly in different ways, but the sensation is the same, and the last one is as good as the first. That terrible mood of depression, of whether it's any good or not, is what is known as the artist's reward. A writer of fiction is really a congenital liar who invents from his own knowledge or that of other men. You can write any time people will leave you alone and not interrupt you. Or rather, you can if you will be ruthless enough about it. But the best writing is certainly when you are in love. All our words from loose using have lost their edge. I don't like to write like God. It is only because you never do it, though, that the critics think you can't do it. His talent was as natural as the pattern that was made by the dust on a butterfly's wings. At one time, he understood it no more than the butterfly did, and he did not know when it was brushed or marred. I'm not going to get into the ring with Tolstoy. If you have a success, you have it for the wrong reasons. If you become popular, it is always because of the worst aspects of your work. I wake up in the morning, and my mind starts making sentences, and I have to get rid of them, fast talk them, or write them down. Wars are caused by undefended wealth. There's no one thing that is true. They're all true. I know war as few other men now living know it, and nothing to me is more revolting. I have long advocated its complete abolition, as its very destructiveness on both friend and foe has rendered it useless as a method of settling international disputes. If you are lucky enough to have lived in Paris as a young man, then wherever you go for the rest of your life, it stays with you, for Paris is a movable feast. Cowardice is almost always simply a lack of ability to suspend functioning of the imagination. Writing and travel broaden your ass, if not your mind, and I like to write standing up. Why should anybody be interested in some old man who was a failure? Bullfighting is the only art in which the artist is in danger of death, and in which the degree of brilliance in the performance is left to the fighter's honor. Once writing has become your major vice and greatest pleasure, only death can stop it. It's none of their business that you have to learn how to write. Let them think you were born that way. All my life, I've looked at words as though I was seeing them for the first time. All good books have one thing in common: they are truer than if they had really happened. There is no rule on how to write. Sometimes it comes easily and perfectly. Sometimes it's like drilling rock and then blasting it out with charges. About morals, I know only that what is moral is what you feel good after, and what is immoral is what you feel bad after. For a war to be just, three conditions are necessary: public authority, just cause, right motive. When I have an idea, I turn down the flame as if it were a little alcohol stove, as low as it will go. Then it explodes, and that is my idea. No weapon has ever settled a moral problem. It can impose a solution, but it cannot guarantee it to be a just one. My aim is to put down on paper what I see and what I feel in the best and simplest way. You can wipe out your opponents, but if you do it unjustly, you become eligible for being wiped out yourself. I never had to choose a subject, my subject rather chose me. Somebody just back of you while you are fishing is as bad as someone looking over your shoulder while you write a letter to your girl. A man's got to take a lot of punishment to write a really funny book. The above are the life wisdom quotes for this episode. Which quote is your favorite? Please leave a comment to tell us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. See you next time.